said that you're an unlikely person to stand. Why?
I would say I'm unlikely because of just my background, with the anxiety, with the stuff that I've struggled with. I would never want to be the person that is the sore thumb or goes against the grain. And so even for me, I know that the conviction was there, and that there had been a transformation in my heart to where I said, God, I want to trust you over myself. There's a concept in Christianity which is like dying to yourself, and pretty much saying, God, let your will be done over mine. And whether this thing is going to cost me friends or love that I had previously, I'm willing to give that up in order to do what you want me to do. And that's why I would say I was the unlikely person, because much of my life had been characterized by self-insecurity and weakness. To then have people call me bold afterward was like, who are you talking about? So that's why I'd say that.
There were other, I guess, pretty prominent decisions that you made, which became public. Like, for example, you made a choice around vaccination. Right. So how did that all play out?
that all played out because I remember early on, right? We're seeing all these images from China on Twitter, and like just people in body bags. And I remember seeing that and it going around, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is crazy. What is this? And you started hearing people over here got it and expecting that same thing. And, it happens, a player in the NBA gets it and it all shuts down, and really just trying to wrap my head around it. I tried not to panic in a sense. So I'm like, okay, what is happening? What does this mean? What is this disease? And what does it mean for everybody? And so instead of like getting into the hysteria immediately, I was kind of just like, okay, I want to understand it. And, the NBA brought us in, they brought a team doctor in, and the team doctor was pretty much just like, it almost felt like he was trying to let us know it's not that bad, but that we're going to have to go through these protocols. And, he told us that it was too small. Apparently the particles were too small for the mask that they were going to have us use to catch it. And it kind of struck me like, that was weird. Why did he say that? And that he's pretty much saying like only the N95 masks is standard mask to do it. And then we're like, but we're not going to use those masks. And I was kind of like, that's weird. And so I just immediately, I was kind of just like, okay. And I started to just look into it. And, from what I saw and, heard online, it was like, hey, this is vaccine that's coming. And if you are compromised in any way, then the vaccine is probably a good idea for you. But yeah, I kind of just had to, I'm young, I'm healthy. I don't have to take this. But then I saw what felt like corporate pressure of just everywhere, not necessarily even from the NBA, but the NBA kind of was like, hey, we want to get this done, and if you don't get the shot, then these are going to be some of the the repercussions, and or things that you're going to have to do. You can't eat with the team, you can't be here, and I just always felt like it was weird from the beginning. I'm like, okay, we're sitting on the bench with our mask on. We're going to take the mask off. We're going to get into a game where we're all breathing on each other and touching each other. We're going to get out of the game and put the mask back on in this closed building. And I was kind of just like, this doesn't make any sense. And, you had the celebrities and you had all the commercials and everything. And I was just like, this feels insane to me. And it was kind of like, I remember when Trump was talking about doing a vaccine really quickly, everybody was against it, if I remember correctly.
That's kind of the feeling,
right? And then
out there, yeah.
There was, Biden came in, and it was like everybody's like, no, the vaccine we have to take, and I was just like, what is going on? And so I pretty much just made the decision, like, hey, I'm gonna one, trust God, but like I'm gonna believe the science that I was seeing, which was, if you're young, if you're healthy, you may get it, but it's not going to kill you. If you're in a compromised state, it's a good idea to get the vaccine to protect yourself. If you have, what do they call it, comorbidities or something like that. And yeah, I just kind of made that decision. I remember there was a doctor on Twitter, Dr. Aaron Kayardi, and I saw him talking about how he lost his job at UC Irvine, and about his decision not to get vaccinated. And I just shot him a DM. I was like, hey, break this down for me. And he gave me this whole spiel, and that gave me more confidence to say, hey, okay, this isn't for me. If you want to get it, more power to you. I'm not telling people not to take it, but for me, I'm okay. And my wife decided not to take it, and all that. And I got COVID. I got COVID really early on, and it passed, and I was okay. It sucked for a few days, for sure, but it passed, and I was okay. And I just kind of kept it moving from there. But Rolling Stone, I got a phone call from our media guy at the Magic saying, hey, this Rolling Stone guy wants to interview about your decision not to get vaccinated. And I was like, how does he know I'm not vaccinated? I was like, what is that? Is it out there that I'm not vaccinated? I have no idea. And because I had never spoken about it. And so I get on the phone with him, and he's like, he's trying to do the buddy thing. Like, hey man, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, can you just break down for me, like what you're thinking? And we had a great conversation. I felt like I told him that, one, that I was a Christian, and I believed that, God had me. And I didn't feel like this was a decision that I needed to make in order for, to be safe. And we talked about the comorbidities, we talked about all these different things. And get off the phone with him, and this article comes out, and it's utter, I can't even say the word. It's just terrible.
But it misrepresented?
At 1,000%.
Right.
Misrepresented my position. I felt like it was a mockery, and I was furious. And I remember talking to my pastor too. I was livid, and he said, "Well, don't do anything, don't post or anything like that. If somebody asks you about it, then speak about it." It happened that the media day was the next day with the Magic. So the media day happens, and I'm on a podium by myself, and they're asking me, "Hey, this Rolling Stone article just came out. What do you have to say?" And I said it. I said, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's crazy that we're even in this position right now. And I talked about some of the things that we're having to do protocol-wise that don't make any sense. And I felt like, based on the science, that I was going to be okay. And the whole thing about everybody trying to get you to take a vaccine that has been proven to not stop you from getting COVID or stop you from transferring COVID, it just makes your chances a little better. And I was just like, okay, I'm good. That's not for me. And, the video went viral. A lot of people understood where I was coming from and backed me.
Do you feel like with standing, back a little bit earlier in COVID, do you feel like you were kind of like training a muscle there a little bit?
I think it did give me a little backbone. I was definitely caught off guard, both sides. Well, just one, obviously the negativity that came about it. Like, all the social medias and everything was blowing up. A lot of people didn't agree or didn't understand where I was coming from, but at the same time, a lot of people did. And I had letters coming to my house. I think my jersey sold second highest in the NBA at that point, with people who agreed with me and understood where I was coming from with it. But I did think it gave me some tougher skin to go, okay, I'm okay with, I survived. I'm okay with saying what I feel is right if I need to. The standing situation was, I had a decision to make. Am I going to stand? The COVID was, I have a decision to make. What am I going to do? And I only spoke about it once I was questioned.
I mean, some things happened, right? You lost a contract with Nike. So some things happened. You lost a contract with Nike, but did you ever feel like your job might be in jeopardy or anything like that?
I did, because you just didn't know, everything that was going on media-wise. I think it was the high time of, like, a lot of people getting canceled too, right? Like, if you didn't kind of assimilate to the situation, you were seen as like a crazy person and deserving of cancellation. So I definitely thought that after the bubble situation, that it could work out to where I was out of the NBA. But I'm grateful for the Magic and the Voss family, and them understanding where I was coming from, even if they didn't agree. You know, I think that's the biggest thing for me. It was like, I've never been a person where it's like, hey, you need to believe what I'm saying, and I care nothing about your opinion. I very much desire to understand where people are coming from. And I feel like in a lot of these situations I did, people were scared, people were terrified. And then you have all of this media pressure and propaganda. They're paying celebrities to come out and say, take the back. The Burger King is giving out free fries and hamburgers for people who get the vaccine. It's like, I completely understand, and I respect your decision to get vaccinated. I'm just asking for that same respect in return. And even if you don't give it to me, that's okay. I'm not offended. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I feel like I've tried my best to keep that position about a lot of things. And I think that's democracy. That's civil. That's, hey, this is my deeply held belief, and you know, if, I'm not hurting anybody, and you're free to have your deeply held beliefs, and we can disagree or agree to disagree.
You see, a lot of people wrote to you
Yeah.
about, well, I guess, you know, one on one side and on the other side, or mainly on which side?
I say the people that wrote to me, I got a lot of letters. That was mainly encouragement. I say like the social media was like a lot of the negativity. But you know, people just, you know, they said they thought what I did was courageous, and gave them permission to be courageous as well. I spoke to some other athletes that felt like they were in similar situations and didn't know what to do, but they felt deeply about what they wanted to do, and they felt like what I said was important. So I was able to talk to them through it, and they ended up making the same decision. So it was a crazy, crazy time.
Tell me about losing the Nike contract.
I got hurt, and it's hard to keep paying a player when he's hurt. And so, but I'm glad that it happened because of what was able to be birthed out of it. And so I get hurt. You know, they make their decision not to re-sign me. I think I kind of made myself, I think it made it hard. I think I made it hard for, you know, for them to keep me, just because, you know, maybe we don't align on a lot of things, and I get that. But I got injured, and I go to my pastor on my road to recovery, and I say, hey, you know, when I get back from injury, I'll probably either try to go back with Nike, because that was apparently an opportunity, or Adidas or somebody else. And he said, no, you know, why don't you make your own shoe? And I was kind of like, that's crazy, you know, that players don't do that. That's why they have these brands. And he said, no, look, really think about it, look at it, make your own shoe. And so I started to go down the road of what it would look like, called my agent and had a bunch of conversations, and we were on the road to creating our own shoe. And we created the Judah 1, which was and is the first NBA signature sneaker with visible Bible verses on the outside. And you know, we started to sell them, and it was dope. I mean, the real big thing was for me to wear them on an NBA court, and they really were for me, in the sense of I picked verses that really spoke to me. Proverbs 28:1, the righteous are as bold as lions. And we came together. My pastor came to me and was like, why don't we create this as an opportunity for Christians all around the world to be united, and on the same front of belief and encouragement and using the word of God in sports. So the idea was to have young people playing in their basketball games with Bible verses on their shoes, as an encouragement, as a reminder, as a unifying, you know, factor. What if there was a mainstream brand for Christians, by Christians, that encouraged them to keep being Christian, keep growing and uniting with each other? And that's how Unite Us was born.
So what do we got here? We have a pair of the Judah 2s. The Judah 1s are kind of finished now. They're pretty much all sold out. We've got a pair of the Judah 1s in the Museum of the Bible that just got put there. Here you go. They're my size, so they're a little large. The massive shoe. Oh my goodness, like bigger than my head. So I'll take you through some of the details. Okay, please. Judah here is my middle name. We have a lion right here, just another symbol of Judah. Christ is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. We've got the Unitas logo right here up front. We've got Unitas on the bottom here, great traction. And pretty much the star of the show is the fact that we've got a Bible verse right on the front tongue, Hebrews 12:1. So this one is the Unitas Judah 2 witness. Hebrews 12:1 says, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off every weight and the sin that so easily entangles us, and run the race of endurance.
You know, some of the messages here, I think, are pretty universal. Like the one that particularly struck me, and something that'd be great to have on your shoes, is persecuted but not abandoned, struck down but not destroyed. Well, why did you pick that one?
Well, I picked that one because that's how I felt. I felt that God had me. God had my back throughout the situations, through the injuries, through the negativity, through the ups and through the downs. He didn't abandon me. I was definitely struck down, but I wasn't destroyed. And so the verses really spoke to me.
Well, it speaks to me.
Awesome. Yes, sir.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I think your shoes might have a even broader, more universal message, not necessarily just for Christians. I wonder if you've thought about that.
No, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I think it's with where we are in today. Like, I think just encouragement is what a lot of people need, and in a lot of the verses is just like you said. There's encouragement. People can identify with the verses, and I think if you identify with it, then it's for you.
How's the brand doing?
It's doing well. It's been a crazy process of stepping into the business lane. I never thought that I'd be doing that at all, or that purpose. But the Judah one, we're pretty much completely sold out of it. We came out with a Fortress sneaker, which is our kind of everyday walk around sneaker, and we've got a ton of colorways in that, and people are really enjoying them. They're really, really comfortable. We just launched our Patriot colorway, red, white, and blue of that Fortress shoe, and it has Isaiah 9:6 on the back, which pretty much talks about Jesus and how the government will be on his shoulders, and he'll be called the Prince of Peace, everlasting God, all that stuff. And so it's doing well. We're working, we're grinding on continuing to grow and get into doing shoes outside of just basketball, but sports, and then everyday casual shoes as well. So
no regrets?
No, not at all. No regrets. Even if God forbid, even if it doesn't do well, even if I have to stop doing United someday because we just don't make it, the ability to put the word of God on shoes in the NBA, the messages that we've got of young people wearing the shoes. I get so many pictures all the time on Instagram and social media. People saying, "Oh, look, my son is wearing your shoes," or "I'm wearing your shoes," and it has a Bible verse on it that I read all the time, and it's just an encouragement. I got a DM from a guy who's playing overseas, who had the shoes, and I messaged him back and I said, "Yo, I just got to say something to you. Like, I recognize that I'm not the biggest superstar in the NBA. People wouldn't consider me a superstar at all. There are a lot of other shoes out there that are probably look better, more comfortable, but you're wearing this shoe because of Christ, because it has the word of God on it. And I just want to commend you for that. And I think that's so cool. And that's what it is for me. It's pretty much saying, like, Christ is more important to me than all the other stuff, and to wear his word on the shoe, on my shoes, is a privilege.
I think you're a bit hard on yourself. I was looking at your numbers. You're not that bad.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Not that I'm a huge basketball watcher or anything like that, but you definitely hold your own.
I appreciate
clearly
that.
There's a reason you still have a job, right?
For sure. For sure.
Something just came to my mind. I have had another NBA player on the show. That was Enes Kanter Freedom, right?
Yeah.
The verse actually makes me think of him a little bit, because he also had a very unique pair of shoes which he wore, which caused a lot of controversy, and he wanted to stand up for the persecuted Uyghur people in China and so forth. I'm wondering if you've ever thought about that. About him and him taking that position. Now he's kind of moved on.
Yeah, I mean, around that time, I remember talking with Enes a little bit. I might disagree with kind of the way he might have gone about certain things, but I definitely understand, that it was very, very dear to him, and it wasn't something that he was just doing just to, get attention. Mm-hmm. And so, I commend him for that. And some things are, we have things in our society where it's just like, you just don't say that, you just don't do that, you just don't go against that because it's so big. And he took on, a big thing, a big industry, and fought his best fight. And like you said, he's going on and doing different things, but I can't imagine the courage and what that took for him to do that.
As we finish up, I've got a quote I want to I want to read you. So when God is leading you in a direction, he's not trying to take anything from you. He has a perfect plan and a purpose for your life. So here's another quote that resonates with me personally, which is why I chose this quote from you. As we finish up, tell me about that. And
for much of my life, especially as a young person, I felt like God was trying to take things away from me. Or at least that's how I understood it by going to church. It's like, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so that's the picture I had. It's like, oh, if I was going to do this God thing, then I'd be no fun. There's no fun in life. And my experience is that that's just not true. That God isn't trying to take anything away from us, that he's inviting us into his plan, and that he's actually trying to get something to us. And that's what I'm experiencing. When I felt like God was trying to take women away from me, he was really trying to get me my wife and my beautiful babies. And so, yeah, I've seen that to be true. And not only in my life, but countless lives where we feel like God is a restriction or rules or a restriction, but they're actually freedom, to where we're not slaves to what's natural to us, which is usually bad. So.
Well, Jonathan Isaac, I think that, you do seem to be part of a bigger plan.
Appreciate that.
It's such a pleasure to have had you on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining Jonathan Isaac and me on this episode of American Thought Leaders. I'm your host, Yanya Kellick.